Okay, welcome to Tony Tutorials and very beginning guitar lessons for the very beginner. This is the second page of page 1 of chapter 1, and in the first lesson we looked at notes within the treble clef that you can apply to your guitar. Now in this particular lesson we're going to look at note values and corresponding rests. Now we've got a treble clef, as all guitar music is played in the treble clef. We have a 4/4 time signature, 4 beats per measure, and there's 4 quarter notes. So there's 4 quarter notes within this measure. Each note can be subdivided into fractions of sound, of value. And the first one we have here is a semi-quaver. And we've got a semi-quaver which has 2 little tails, and it's a 16th note. And we have the corresponding rest, which is a 16th rest. Then we have a quaver, which is an 8th note in American terminology, and we have an 8th rest corresponding. This is worth 8th in its value within 4/4. This is a crotchet. This is 1 quarter note. There are 4 quarter notes in this measure, as depicted by 4 quarter notes and its corresponding rest. Now we have 4 or 1 quarter note and an 8th rest with it, which means that the duration of that dotted crotchet goes for 1 and an 8th beat in its value. Put the 8th there, and now we have a minim, which is a half note, and that goes 1, 3. Hard to explain. Did I explain that right? It goes for 2 beats, but it doesn't sound 2 beats. You get 1 beat, 1, 2. So that's a minim with a corresponding minim rest that comes off this ledger line and pokes up. And we have a dotted minim, which is a half note we've just talked about, 1 with a quarter note joined to it. So the value is 3 crotchets within that dotted half note or minim. There's a little hat there that goes up with a dot, and we have the whole note, which is 4 beats. You don't hear the 4 beats, but they're there. You hear the first beat, 1. And that has a corresponding rest there, which is a little hat. Well, that's more like the hat, but that's hangs down like a bat off the balcony, off the belfry of this ledger line here. So these are well worth you memorizing. You'll find that most guitar music contains these notes somewhere in it. Now in here we have 16th notes. Each crotchet in your 4/4, 4 beats, 4 quarters, 4 crotchets, 4 times in this measure, is subdivided into 4 16ths. So you have 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander. 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander. They're your 16th notes. There's a double bar or double beam, and each beam holds within it or on it 4 notes of 16 value within this rhythm. Then we have our 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and each crotchet, the quarter note, is now divided into pairs. equals 1 crotchet, that equals 2 crotchets, that equals 3 crotchets, that equals 4 crotchets, which equal 4 quarter notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we have what is actually represented in this meter, 4 crotchets or 4 quarter notes contained within the measure 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have a crotchet plus an eighth in time value. So 1 crotchet, 1 quarter note, 1 pulse plus an eighth. Bap, bap, up is contained within this measure. And now we have our half notes. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 4. And then we have the whole note, which is 1 beat with 4 quarter notes of silence, and it's stretching the note across this measure. Now the final thing we're going to look at on this particular page in our reference book, or digital reference book, is our I, M, I. Index middle, rest strokes, important. Rest strokes, good to practice. Let's try and put that guitar up a little bit. Rest out on the second string. Bring in this bend up. It's a walking motion. Just these 2 fingers. You do a lot with these 2 fingers. They were rest strokes. We'll get on to free strokes a little later on. It's good to practice your rest strokes and just sit there driving mum and dad mad. I am, I am, I am, I. Now you'll notice that on the 3/4 I've done am, I am, I, am, I am, I am, I am, I. Different rhythmic value. You've got a 3/4, which is a waltz. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So make that a practice. Bringing out the melody line. The picks, natural picks that God gave you to be able to play melodic line and bring out that melodic line within your guitar. So what I'm going to do now is drive you absolutely crazy and put a metronome on these beats. I'm going to listen for the value. I'll put a metronome on in the distance, not to drive you absolutely crazy, but the metronome is always good to use when you're first beginning music. I neglected to use the metronome when I started, and I wanted to fire off and I wanted to play Led Zeppelin and do everything, and I started to lose count and lose time. Counting, apart from the musical value, is obviously the most fundamental part of music, because without time you don't have anything. So try and be disciplined in your time. So if you're into these, you start getting into these lessons, come back to them, and we'll slowly progress through until we have a full piece that we'll be playing at the end. So let me just play this through for you. go. I 3 4. Okay, let's stop the click clock. And that's the end of page 1. Put it down here so you can look at everything. And stop it and go through it. And this is fundamental beginning of understanding musical notation and applying it to your fretboard of your guitar for the very basic beginner. So I hope you've enjoyed this one, kids, and remember, subscribe to Old Tony, and I'll be bringing on page 3 pretty soon. I'll go a little more deeper and deeper and deeper into music and understanding the values of notes and applying them to each part of your fretboard. So you take care now, kids, and stay out of trouble, and hopefully I'll see you soon.